Hey, welcome to Duranified Channel. Today's guest is Karley Cottrell. We're going to be talking with her about some of the things that's been occurring on her channel, some of her videos, urban exploration, how does she using her drones to kind of make it a better story. Now, with that said, let me bring in Fred, our co-host. Fred, hey Fred, good to see you, man.
What's going
How you
on,
doing,
Al?
man?
Doing great, man.
I know it's a great day. How was your day? Did you get a chance to do a build like you were discussing?
I did, yeah. I built
How did
this
you get?
drone you sent me.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's a Zyto kit from the Joshua Bardwell, right?
It is. Yep. Took
Was it,
about
it
3.5, 4 hours to build it,
yeah.
start to finish.
So now it's time to get it on beta flight and get started, right?
It is.
Flying it.
Yep.
All right. With that said, let's bring Karley in. Hey Karley, thanks for joining.
How we
How
doing?
are
Hey,
you?
very well, thank you. How are both of you?
Excellent.
It is
It's
good to see your channel is just rocking and rolling.
thank you. Yeah, we're growing slowly and steadily, and it's been really nice.
So tell me what's been the most challenging and most fun, or I shouldn't say fun, most enjoyable thing as a
You know what?
creator now.
Yeah, I recently was able to take a trip to Europe, and we took the drone, and we were able to find some spots that were just really incredible. So we went to Northern Ireland, we went to Scotland, we went to England, we went to Wales, and it was an incredible experience. So some of the spots we were able to fly, just breathtaking footage. It was really amazing.
Now, how did you plan it out, or was this just a spur of the moment to get on over
No,
there?
it's very planned out. Definitely very planned out. Flying internationally with a drone in the first place, you have to make sure everything is just so. And then also, every country is different as far as drone laws are concerned. And as we all know, drone laws change very quickly depending on whoever has made a dumb mistake lately. So it was a good thing to practice, checking flight maps and know them and all that good stuff.
Now, did you check the local authorities to see what kind of covenants they had or anything like that prior to flying?
Yeah, it's really easy to find. If you just Google like international flight laws or like drone laws in whatever
Mhm.
country, it's really easy to find. So you can see they separated into recreational flight or commercial flying, and you can kind of go down the rabbit hole really easily with that and see, do you need any special permissions? Do you just need to check flight maps? So it wasn't really any different than researching places for missions in the US.
Got it. Got it. So, did you require any kind of insurance prior to flying or certificate from the authorities?
Not for anything that I did this time, which was nothing different than I already have, anyway, I should say. Um, it was really a matter of just making sure that, again, you're checking your flight maps, not just the DJI flight info, but checking like before you fly. And there was another one I can't name off the top of my head that they had recommended for like European countries. And just doing the due diligence that we would do here and just making sure. And if you were doing certain commercial flights, yes, there are flight permits that you have to apply for ahead of time, but that specifically didn't apply to anything I was doing. So I was fine.
Oh, okay, that's nice. So, Fred, when you travel, what do you usually do with your batteries? Do you pack them in your bag? How do you travel with
Yeah, I
yours?
usually bring them on my carry-on. It's kind of where they
Yeah.
make you put them now.
Yeah.
I don't think you can check batteries anymore.
No, especially not,
Actually,
not
when
for
I
this
was
stuff.
heading out west there the last time when I got robbed there, I had all my stuff in my bag and I had to actually pull it all out in the airport. And I think that's how I got
So,
seen, is
somebody
what they seen what was in my bag. Yeah.
Right.
somebody cased you out, huh?
Yep. So
Wow,
I just
that's
put
really
everything in
unfortunate.
my carry on, and I think that's how they got me. But
So you think it happened right as you were going through, how do you got to reveal what you have? I usually put all my batteries in a lipo safe bag. So as soon
Mm,
as I get there, the drone is in one of the ruggedized cases, and the batteries are in a fireproof bag.
Yeah.
and they're put right there, and they just go right on through. I don't say a thing. I don't do anything. I just, if they ask me, I'll do something. But otherwise, I just usually go right on through. Believe it or not, my Florida trip was just like that, so it was pretty easy. And I think the other trip to Tennessee was like that, pretty straight, easy going, and
Yeah.
also, yeah. So if you guys are out there, that's what I usually recommend. Um, I see we got Eat More Possum in the house. Hey, how you doing, man? And Johnny's here. Thanks for joining. Hopefully, we'll get some more folks joining. I know it's early in the stream, but well, what's going on with you, Fred? I know that you've been. Have you done any flights with that? What is that up there? The
Uh,
atomic?
the binary?
Oh, it's a
No,
binary. Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Last week or so, I took a couple flights, but it's been so darn cold, man. I haven't been really interested. I mean, I'm interested in flying, but not to stand out there for any length of time.
Yeah, especially in planes now. Like we were talking earlier about Captain Drone, that one plane, that's a VTOL plane, the battery can last up to an hour on that flight. So if you stand out there in the cold in the middle of the winter for an hour flying, that's going to be.
I
Hey,
mean, I try to
Chris.
fly from inside the car, but the range is terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't, I don't really tend to mess with it. I just wait till it gets a little warmer. As hard as it is to wait.
Yeah.
I just found out that they ran out the local civic center here for one night a week for drones, or one night every 2 weeks for drone flying and drone racing. So
That's fun.
How does that work?
I'm not sure. They just ran out the whole. I mean, not a whole lot goes on there, really. I mean, it's not like they have any concerts or hockey team there anymore. It's pretty much like an empty building that just sits there. So,
Hmm.
but
Well,
I just
Marcus,
learned about that today. But they have concerts there. It's a big building.
so you just get to fly inside the building and there'll be mayhem inside the building for a little while? That'd
Pretty
be
much,
pretty.
I guess. Yeah. I'm sure there's a limit on to what size drone, and you know what I mean. I don't know the particulars yet, but
Oh, that sounds awful fun, doesn't it?
they're
I'm
supposed to
in.
have drone races there every once a month now too, kind of. So we'll see.
Now, do you guys know anybody that is on T-Mobile?
T-Mobile?
T-Mobile cellular service. Sorry, I left
Oh,
it left it hanging.
no.
Well, T-Mobile is streaming the drone DRL drone racing league races on your T-Mobile device live
Oh, that's
now with
fun.
5G. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Has anybody in the audience been watching any of the DRL races? I know Nurk is now his substitute. He's a fill-in because I don't know they dropped him, but and he usually streams live on his premieres on Thursday afternoon. So if you guys,
I haven't caught one in a few months, at least probably 5 or 6 months actually, since I've seen a race.
so Karley, I was going to play a little bit of that video where you're going down that shaft, and would that be okay with you? If
Oh,
we,
sure. Yeah, go ahead. Of course, since we can't fly the drone in the mine shaft, we'll see the drone videos at the beginning and the end. But yeah, it was a fun video. It's a fun time.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and back it up, and I'll share my screen, and then we can play it. Okay. So you can welcome and narrate as we're talking through it, and we'll probably
Awesome.
ask you a few questions along the way. So,
Very cool. Very cool.
we'll share my screen here. I want to
Awesome.
share. Okay, here we are. We'll get it started. So give us a little context here. What are we looking
Yeah.
at?
So this is an abandoned silver mine that is now privately owned by a family just outside of Goldfield, Nevada. So they care for the mine area, protect it, make sure that there's like historical preservation there. So you'll see me in my little Florence Mining Company hard hat that they had me wear while I was there, and the young man that you see to my left, our right, his name is James, and so he is the guy that does the tours, and he's a very smart, very knowledgeable young man. He's very vested, like interested in the history of the town, which is cool to see because it's fun to see someone that's found such a passion at such a young age. So that was really nice. This was after a couple times of going up to the mine and touring the ground level, like the surface area. And then after making friends with the family, I was given a very special permission to climb down into the mine shaft. So this is the exploration of us going 555 feet down into, I think, the level 7 mine. And so this was an area that had only been explored by like 2 other people since the mine was closed in like the early 1900s.
Wow. So what have they been just sitting there and they've owned the property and now they decided to kind of let people explore?
Yeah, so the mine area, like I said, is owned by a family, and their goal is historical preservation. So they are just making sure that the area around it is preserved. This big structure that you see in the center, that like big wooden structure, was like the hoist that would lower the containers up and down for the miners and ore and all that stuff. And I'm not exactly sure where everything happens, so definitely, go back and watch the full video because I've got more information there. But basically what would happen was James would crawl down ahead of me, make sure that specific area was clear, and then I would follow him down. So the area gets smaller and smaller, as you can see. Those are the original wooden ladders. So we were just crawling down, and this is something you have to be very strong and very flexible to do because the space, like I said, gets smaller and smaller. And like I said, those are the original wooden ladders. It was very dangerous. So we absolutely knew how dangerous it was, but it was kind of a once in a lifetime situation where I didn't know how long the mine was going to stay structurally intact. And if you just don't go, parts of it may become unexplorable, and then you'll never get to go in. So you can see every level that we went down, the space that you had to get through got smaller and smaller. And once we get down into the 500 and 700 level range, the space, you can see I'll probably put my foot, like that's barely longer than the length of my foot that we have.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second. I noticed that I saw the shadow of your camera there, and it looks like you got a dead cat on it.
Yes.
What are we looking at? What kind of camera were you using?
That was a GoPro Hero Black 9. I think maybe 10, maybe 10.
Oh, okay. So you got the microphone adapter for it. Got it.
Right. And that was also so that I didn't have to switch out the audio when we were above ground because it does get windy. And also, of course, the GoPro, worst case scenario, if we dropped it down the tunnel, that thing would probably survive. Maybe a cracked lens, but it at least would survive.
Yeah, you would definitely have your footage.
Yes. Yeah.
The lens might be a little cracked, but you got your footage.
We would at least have the footage, and that's what matters. Yeah. And basically, it just keeps going with me explaining the history of the mine and how long people were there. This part doesn't really make sense unless we watch the whole thing, but we're not going to watch the whole thing. Basically, what we did was we got to the very, very bottom, 555 feet down, and we turned out all the lights. We covered every single light source and just listened. And we just sat in pitch blackness with no sound, no light for 2 minutes to see what it was like to be completely like sensory deprivation and just kind of have that extra challenge of see if it would be scary. And it wasn't really scary, but it was very interesting. And you do start to get, you start to lose your balance and you start to think you're hearing things when you don't, just because your brain is looking for something to connect to. It's looking for, any sort of like visual connection, and it doesn't have one. So it's a fun experience.
So did you find yourself? Did you test yourself? You find yourself? You know how I've done it numerous times where I just wanted to just kind of see what my limits are and figure it out. And it would be a kayak or a lone rappel run or something like that. So, and you kind of get to know yourself a little better, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely fun to see, what you're mentally capable of doing. And this was really fun. I was exhausted by the time we were done because there's no rappel, like you're not belaying, there's not anything to help you if something does happen. And again, incredibly dangerous. But now I've done it and it was awesome, and I would do it again.
All right, so I'm gonna actually show the video again because I think this is one of the things that we're talking about. You know, you're obviously using your you kind of using the drone for your first establishing shot, and now
Mhm.
they're gonna end it with another kind of establishing shot. So
Yeah, nice little end cap.
and there you go, guys. So if you're interested, go check out Karley's channel, guys. Definitely subscribe. She's moving up, so help her out,
Thank you,
guys.
thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff that I got to do lately where the drone really came in handy, like, exploring the abandoned Scottish mansion, like Coco Chanel's mansion. That was a really fun exploration to do. I loved that shoot.
Ye-
Getting to film in Loch Ness, getting to film in the Scottish Highlands. Like, there was so much fun stuff.
So that was more, the Scottish mansion you were talking about. It was more like urban exploration, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not urban. This is more like I don't know, mansion explorations, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely not urban. It was a good 2.5, 3 hour drive up into the forest of the Scottish Highlands, and then you have to park your car in a hidden spot and then hike to the location. So it is not something you can just go to. So basically, I left
Why
little
a
Easter
hidden
eggs.
spot? That's interesting. You don't want anybody to stumble around in your car and vandalize it.
Well, I mean, there's not anybody up there, but just in case, you know what I mean? So this mansion was
And
built.
that's a drone shot there, right?
Yeah, that's a drone shot. And then, of course, there's a drone shot. By the time we drove there, hiked through the forest, found the place, because there's no roads, there's no signs, there's nothing to tell you where it is. The thing that
Ooh,
was the road is obviously overgrown with forest now. There is a caretaker that comes occasionally to make sure that the grass doesn't overtake the mansion, but other than that, the property is left completely alone.
The roof's in
So you
great
can
shape.
see a little bit of
yeah,
us hiking through the forest. I mean, look at that! Like
yeah,
the
it's
kinds of
amazing.
colors there. I don't think I've ever seen something like that. So the little Easter eggs in the video, you can see where we pass by certain um, milestones on the hike. You can see where the landscapers have left some equipment. I think to probably scare people away from going there all the time. But in Scotland, there's a thing called the Right to Roam Act, which is different than in the U.S. in most places, and it basically means that you can go places without the fear of trespassing or being getting in trouble, basically, for going onto land that isn't like occupied.
Got it. So, but if it's occupied, obviously you need to ask for permission. So,
Right, and I don't know the exact definition of when it becomes and when it doesn't, but we just knew that we weren't going to get in trouble for being here, and that's all that mattered.
yeah, yeah. Well, definitely a beautiful sunset. I think it wasn't a sunrise, right? So it was a sunset.
It
Beautiful.
was
I thought I saw you'd use dolly zoom earlier. Um, did you mean to use a dolly zoom effect? Uh,
and that was just the flight. It wasn't.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. Because I've used that dolly zoom effect before, and it's really, really cool.
yeah. No,
Do you
I
have
didn't.
the Mavic? You have the Mini 2 there, or just the Mini?
It's the Mini 2.
You had the Mini 2, yeah, because you can do the auto. You know how you got your left index finger, you can do the zoom. So
Right, right, yeah,
as you're pulling away, zoom in, and it'll
right,
be
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that one will work.
It probably was a post edit that I put in,
Oh,
honestly.
got it. Yeah, that looked great.
Thanks. Yeah, so basically, this is the abandoned mansion of the Duke of Westminster and Coco Chanel. And the Duke of Westminster owned it from the time he began, his appointedship to his position until he passed away. And they had basically a torrid love affair before, I think, World War II. And so she stayed there, and it was a really incredible experience because we were just walking through this abandoned mansion, and you can just still see their things. Like, they just still have their possessions that are left inside, and some parts of the mansion had started to kind of caved in on itself. And so there was a really creepy, just constant like drip from the rain outside, and an echo through the mansion because it's just a stone mansion that's mostly empty. So we were just exploring hallways and not really worried about ghosts or anything, but like that super creepy. Who does that?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? So the main thing that we were concerned about is other occupants, of course. So if there were any squatters or people who were, experiencing homelessness or experiencing mental illness, we didn't want to have any interactions with anyone like that. But you can see just looking down the hallway, there's
Yes,
sort of a moth that is.
I agreed.
The experience.
I've run into something like that. I'll share a video with you here in a second. But how you're doing the exploration. I actually, basically walked into somebody's house because even though it was abandoned, there was people living in it.
Oh.
But, and I was ignorant to the fact that they're very territorial. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you better be careful. And I didn't know any better. So anyway, that looks like the end of the video. And it was a really good one. So congrats on that. And so I'm going to remove that from the stream. And what else is on your mind, Fred? While I look for this video.
Lot, man. Just kind of hoping it doesn't get any colder. It's supposed to get really cold next week. January up here sucks, man. January and February.
Karley, Fred's up in Lake George, New York, so it's close to our Canadian brothers up there.
Oh gosh,
it's brisk up here.
Yeah, I bet that's a no for me.
Yeah. He definitely has a challenge up there. Yeah, I'm going to continue. Look, you guys carry on. I'll find this video.
I'm looking at the chat right now. I got a hi from Ray Kelly. Hi, Ray. It's good to have all these people in the chat hanging out.
Yeah, nice. Go ahead and...
Still down south, Ray? Lucky dog, you.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? So,
yeah, we were pretty fortunate today. It was sunny skies and not really raining, so it was -20. God dang it! No, thank you. No, sir.
Yeah, Jean's got the same weather as I do. Sometimes a little chillier.
God, that's too much. I'm not built for that.
We were actually 27 here today. It wasn't too bad.
Oh, man.
All right, so what I'm about... Oh, my goodness, what did I just do? Oh, yeah, I just messed up my whole display. Sorry, guys. It'll take me a little bit to get back to where I needed to be, but I think I can do it. I'm sure everybody that's hosted a live stream knows what we're going through.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just one of those things. All right, so I'm going to share my exploration. This is a old cotton mill here in Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, cool.
And again, I do kind of very similar to you did. I did hyperlapse and I did a kind of established shot. At the time, I was using a DJI Spark. That was my first drone ever. This video was created in 2018, so it's pretty old. So it'll show its age, considering how our cameras have evolved so much.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
So much better, right?
We actually have an old abandoned town up here, and the only way you can get to it is by railroad tracks that don't get used anymore.
Oh my goodness!
That's awesome.
And it's basically like an old granite town, and once they stopped mining up there, they just left everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I walked in on those guys doing artwork.
Oh, cool.
And then I found this other gentleman in here too. And that's the building I want to get into. And then you just kind of have to go over the broken down fence. And then this is kind of like your hike to get up here. So, You got to, be careful not to step on any nails. Don't do anything stupid.
Right, of course.
You
When
know,
you go down there, it looks like quite the wall.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a hard cement down there, and there was those guys using spray paint down in there. And then I'm going to just jump ahead, and this is what you see looking out the window. And there was this guy singing to himself
Oh,
right there,
yeah.
and he's just singing away. And there's the river, and this building no longer exists. There's a high rise here that
Oh,
tore this
wow.
down, and you can see. And I talked to these guys. I kind of interviewed them, but they wouldn't let me post the video. Uh, and the way the code is, if they don't deem the artwork any good, they'll spray paint it right over top of it, something more worthy of staying on the building.
Mm,
And if it's worthy of staying on the building, it will not be sprayed on
right.
unless there's a rookie that does it. So this is their kind of museum. This is where they come practice their artwork,
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
these holes in the middle that you see there, it's where the water came through to turn these
Wow.
big turbines, and and that's how they milled. And so I think this is where I walked upstairs. Yeah, I think I walked upstairs, and here's where I encountered somebody living here. I didn't know I was like actually walking into their room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And see the big circular things in the floor there behind
Hmm.
me? That's where these big like motors were there, like grinders. That's where they built it. And yeah, so it's
Yeah.
and yep. And then I just want to get out of here because I interrupted somebody's sleep, and who
Yeah.
knows what they're going to do to me. And so
Right.
I'm like,
Absolutely.
I'm trying to find an exit without. And you can see I'm starting to get really shaky and a little sweaty.
Yeah.
I'm nervous, and I just want to get out of there.
Yeah.
And,
Definitely. You want to try to get out of there with all your cameras intact once they see that you have stuff.
yeah, and I'm carrying a drone, and these boards here are just like so rickety. I'm trying to
Oh, yeah.
kind of pick my way through here
For sure. Yeah.
and don't fall through the floor. So I'm trying to find the spot, and then but I do want to get to what that gentleman was on the wall. That guy that was singing. I want to get there because that's where this platform is to fly, and it's like a commanding view of the city
Right.
and commanding view of the river. And there's the city, but look at this roof you got to walk across. Is it going to
Yeah.
hold
That's
up?
super sketch.
So I decided
Big
to
time.
make a run for it. Okay, almost literally.
I might have
make a
tried
run.
the edges. I don't know.
I was looking for where the joists were. You know what I mean? Uh, and and so I decided that right on the edge here might be my best bet because I
That's
know
what I
there's
would have went.
solid because I know there's solid beams right under me. But
Right.
and so I was like, okay, let's do it. And I'm like,
Just wondering, is your
yeah.
150, 60 pounds going to be the difference to make the whole thing fall?
And look
Right.
at this
Totally.
MDS. This is like MDS, right? It's not really good for weather. And so I make it across,
It's probably filled
and
with asbestos in there.
LTS at big fat blah blah beep
Yeah.
beep.
Seriously.
And then there's a gap between this river wall.
You don't want to make the jump, Al?
You don't want to fall in this gap when you go
No,
across.
seriously. That looks miserable.
Okay. And so this is the Army Corps of Engineers wall to protect the neighborhood from the river. So I'm like,
Oh.
I'm trying to figure out how to get to this place. How to,
Yeah, you wonder, like, did that dude jump, or was there like a bridge?
yeah. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to jump with backpack and everything on. So,
Man, it's a little overkill on that wall, ain't it?
yeah,
What,
this
expecting
is,
the whole Atlantic Ocean to flow through there, or what?
I think they have a bunch of valves and stuff in these things that
That
they
thing's
just,
like 30 foot thick.
Yeah, they must have just cemented it in. And this is where I wanted to get to this river and
Mm.
fly. And I finally made it. And then at the end, that guy singing, that's him right there. And there's that little spark controller in my hands. And this is before I had knee surgery, so I'm really bow legged. You can see my
Mm.
legs are super bow legged. And this is, I didn't do an establishing shot like you did, but I did end it with this shot.
Yeah, that's
So,
cool.
So there's the urban exploration you can do here in Richmond. It's a little bit different in the city than it is obviously in a mine. Uh,
Yeah.
but, but that gives you an idea of what there we go. So any other interesting videos, Fred, that you've come across that you'd want to like talk about or you want me to put on?
Not recently, really, man. Not. It's kind of been stale a little bit out there. Like the
Really?
same old thing that I've been noticed. I mean, I'm sure people found some good stuff, but I don't know. I've been doing a lot of building too. I haven't really been watching too much YouTube, to be honest with you. Kind of been a lot of tinkering. Too
Good,
many
good.
projects going on at once. I got like 5 planes and that I'm building, and a tracker, and now a drone, which I'm kind of just about to the end of it all now. Now it's just time to take them out and fly them. But
So, Karley, I sent Fred a Joshua Bardwell Xylo kit. So all you get is your parts. So you don't have to source all your parts. You don't have to figure out what kind of motor, what kind of flight controller, what kind of frame, what kind of receiver, what kind of props you want.
Oh,
You
fun.
get this. This kit comes with everything you need to make a drone fly.
Oh, cool.
Except for you have to have your own goggles and you have to have your own receiver.
Okay.
So if you have those things, which I know Fred did, and he's not a digital guy, he likes analog.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, what's the name of your goggles? The model of your goggles is what I meant to say.
they're the Sky Zone.
It's got the Sky Zones. Yes.
Oh,
Hey,
nice.
The X40. These ones here.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that sounds so fun. I haven't gotten the chance to try any FPV stuff, but I really want to.
oh, I wish you lived closer. I would love to schedule some time we could fly together and
Yeah,
kind
that
of
would have been fun.
really is because I have a buddy of mine here that he's kind of like my mentor. He's kind of helped me build that, and he's helped a couple other people out too. And so I'm kind of trying to return the favor and kind of keep the
Yeah.
legacy going. Now, I want to help out people like they've helped me,
Oh, that's
because
super cool.
so that way, you can now. Fred's got to do it whenever he has a chance. It will
Right.
be once he learns how to do it and fly it. Because the best way to know something is teach it. You
Right.
really got to know your subject matter when you
Yeah.
teach it. You agree?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And the best way to do it, in my opinion, is like I said, teach it. And if you can coach it, is even better.
Right.
I've tried a few FCs and a few VTX in my learning process, but it happens. You plug something in backwards, or you hook something to
Yeah.
the wrong spot. You put the battery to it, and it all goes up in smoke, and you got to start over.
Did you get a smoke stopper, Fred?
Yeah, I do have one. I do.
Okay.
Although
So
I have run into a position where that didn't help. So I mean, it's not
it could.
100%, but I mean, for the most part, it will.
Well,
9
it
times out of
did.
10, it's gonna save you.
It did save me on this one. I'll show it to you why. I put the smoke stopper on and I powered it up, and I had one of these cables, this dangling little cable up front here. That one
Yep.
is for my buzzer that I don't have plugged in, which is right here. Um, I got pinched it on the frame and it was shorting out.
Oh, geez.
And so when I hit it with the smoke stopper, it beeped. And I'm like, I've never heard that before. So
Something's wrong.
there's something wrong. And so it didn't smoke anything, but it told me it was something wrong. So I went back in there, and sure enough, I had, you know, how a camera plate comes down on the frame. It pinched that cable right there, and carbon's conducting. There's carbon fiber frames. They'll just and so I shorted out those two leads. Luckily, it was only going to like a UART on the board. It wasn't going straight to battery, so I lucked out.
Definitely. Because it
lucked out.
only doesn't take much either. I mean, you cannot unplug it fast enough before it's cooked. It's instant.
The electrons are gone by then,
Yeah,
man. They are
instant.
gone. So, Karley? What do you think about all this new technology hitting the market today? What have you been looking at and coveting? Like, oh, I really want something. I want that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know that everybody's excited about like the new Mavic products that are coming out, and I'm excited for the DJI, the Mini 3. I'm excited for that to come out because I've gotten so much success from the Mini 2. And I didn't get the 2S because I feel like it's kind of like when the iPhones come out and then they upgrade like a tiny bit, but you got to wait for the next one after that, and then that's when like the big cool stuff comes. So I'm hoping that the Mini 3 has like, you know, maybe 5K instead, or some obstacle avoidance, or, you know, something like that. It would make life a lot easier.
I think
That's good to hear.
I think we'll see 4K 60 on the Mini 3, and I think it might have front and rear obstacle avoidance.
That would be so nice.
Also in the bottom, I think too, because you already have, you know, optical flow camera there, so you might as well utilize and leverage that to prevent any.
I just think, I mean, that's pretty much the only spot they have left to go, really, with the Mini 3.
Yeah, and I know the Mini also doesn't have like a follow me the same way. You can kind of like hack it, I've heard, with different ways. And there's some like software updates that have kind of made it the same, but not really. But you know, obviously it doesn't have all the same features.
Well, you know, Karley, DJI just released an SDK pack that allows third-party developers like Lychee and Harmony to develop. So they already put out their apps that work on your phone to control the Mini too, and it has the tracking mode too.
Yeah. It's so exciting.
Yeah, so it is. I mean, they're moving in the right direction, but I got to tell you something. I had a really bad experience with DJI support this week. I forgot all about it.
Really?
Yeah, I did. So this guy, like I showed you, you know, you got to activate it before you can even fly it, right? And when I went to activate it, you have to have the DJI Assistant 2 app. Each one of the DJI assistants work with either the old Mavic Pro series, or if you need a Mavic 2 Pro, then you need Assistant 2. But if you have the FPV version, you need Assistant 2 FPV version. And somehow I got my revisions messed up. So basically, I have a PC, so it's a Windows 10 box, and somehow the libraries got mixed up. And when I executed my FPV version of Assistant, it wouldn't recognize this thing, so it wouldn't activate it. So I had a brick, and I called DJI and said, "Hey, I got this brick, and I know you guys can fix it,
right?
Because all I have to do is activate it." And they go, "Oh, yeah, that's right. It's a Caddx product now, so call Caddx." I'm like, "Okay, do you have their number?" He goes, "No, we don't have their number." So there is no phone number for Caddx. You know what they have for support?
Is it like the little chat box or whatever? Yeah.
Facebook. Facebook. So I was like, screw this, right? Yeah. I think I could fix this myself. So I wasted like 2 hours of maybe about an hour and a half of my life talking on the phone. And then I finally said, I just removed all my DJI assistants from my computer because I was mad at them to begin with. And then I was like, I'm just going to install the DJI Assistant 2 FPV version, the old one. And I installed that. And when I did that, I was able to register everything myself. But what I was so disappointed about is the fact that, you know, you can't pick up the phone and talk to somebody. And Caddx now having the intellectual property for the air unit and the Caddx Vistas.
Right. but that doesn't mean that they have like a
Good support.
team, like just
Yeah.
because they own the rights to the software or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably more interested in developing the next product and
Yeah.
than they are to support the older products that they have out there. But I
Right.
must say that these two drones that I recently made are now flying like a dream. I'm really
Awesome.
loving them. And
Very
this
cool.
one here, I've been printing all these side curtains on it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I get the camera to focus, no, don't take a picture. Anyway, it's gonna take a picture. You can see
Yeah.
you can see all the curtains that I put in there prevent all that mud that gets slung in here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think these are 4 inches, by the way, and you get about 5 to 7 minute flight time per battery. It's the 850 milliamp hour 90C rated battery, and they're so much fun. You get the feel of a 5 inch, but you get the length of flying like almost twice as long. So you get 100% more flight time if you're easy on the throttle. Now, if you're jamming on it, you might get 60 more percent out of your battery.
Yeah.
It's a blast. It's super fun. It's so addicting that it's kind of like after you go fly, you're tired.
Yeah.
I mean, tired.
Absolutely. Well, there's so much mental focus. There's so much energy that goes into the awareness. And there's so much that you have to pay attention to that I feel like it's like when you have to drive for a long time, or if you're doing a lot of screen time work, like you're on the laptop or whatever, that takes a lot of energy and it does physically drain you. So
driving kills me. I mean, if I used to drive all day, I used to do pest control, so I was like on the road all day. You know, I drive 2,000-3,000 miles a week, and it was just the driving was worse than anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
The work was so easy. I mean, it was like doing nothing.
You're like happy to get out of the car.
It was just like, oh my god, if I got to drive another mile today, I'm gonna die. It's like I'd be like, get to at the end of the day, 50, 60 miles from home, and it's like, man, I'm tempted to rent a motel room because I don't want to drive home.
Right, I know.
I agree. I know, right? You wish you had this, heated pants and heated seats in the car and everything.
Yeah.
Well,
I had a question for y'all, and I don't know if this changes the subject too much, but I was wondering, I don't know if you've already talked about it, and if you have, then obviously never mind. But have you talked about the Bengal Stadium thing?
Oh, I have not. Can you fill us in on it? Because I've been living in a vacuum lately.
Yeah. So a video popped up on YouTube that this person filmed a full video of them with the drone, like at and above, crossing over the Bengal Stadium during a game, like
oh my gosh,
game, and going into the stadium, going in front of the crowd, pausing, circling the stadium multiple times over. Like this was not an accident. This was not an oops, I flew over situation. This was a several-minute video of this person recording over a live televised NFL game with a live attended audience.
Can you tell what kind of video? I mean, what kind of drone it was, Karley?
I couldn't, but I'll try to find.
If they went down into the stadium, God, they had to almost been in there to.
Yeah, because the dome was open, so they went down into the stadium over the game during live play, and were like filming people, and you could see they cut to a shot of like people waving at the drone and stuff. And so obviously, this is so many laws, like so much no. Even if you've never looked online,
I'm just
like you should know better. Like
this with the line of sight of the drone, though. If they came in, they would probably lose service unless they were up higher than the stadium itself.
Well, I mean, we should try to find the video, because from the video, it looks like there was no geofencing. It looks like there wasn't anything that blocked the signal. So I don't know what kind of drone it was, because it just keeps going the whole time. And so I've seen the video posted a couple different times, and I've seen different updates. And of course, now the FAA and the NFL are involved, and all of these government agencies. And I keep seeing things where it's like, oh, they're trying to find the person. I'm like, they posted it on their YouTube. Like, how hard could it be to find
They can't prove that the person posted it though was the one that's flying. That's the problem.
Well,
Yeah.
no,
They're
but
going to make the case for remote ID big time now. Sorry to cut you guys off.
It could just
right.
be
Well,
somebody.
that's
It could
the thing is, I
be
think that
something
he
to do
did
with
have
it.
remote ID. I think that was one of the things, that he did have remote ID. And I don't know if that's true or not, but that's one of the things someone had commented. I didn't even think remote ID was necessarily like 100% out and being used yet. But we've got to find it. Yes, here we go.
Is this the video?
It looks like the beginning of it, but while you're going through it, I'll also try to find it because someone had posted it in one of the.
I think this is that. Let me hit it and see what. Take a look.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks like it is not a professional shot at all. And let me speed it up.
Yeah.
This looks like it. It looks like
I don't know if this channel is the original channel that posted it, but this looks like the footage. And you can see it's also not great footage, which tells me that this is not an experienced drone pilot because it's pretty choppy. It's pretty, it's not good. You see how close?
Yeah, look at all the people looking now, waving.
The crowd sees and recognizes the drone, reacts to the drone being there, and is waving.
Look, this guy's flipping them off.
It was in the stadium. It was close enough that the crowd could recognize that it was there.
And then,
I mean, this person is.
It had to have been a high-end drone to be able to get down.
It had to be the Air 2S. It definitely had an AccuSync 3 for sure, because that should be able to modulate.
Buildings over here that are up higher, you know. What I mean?
I can't hear y'all. I don't know what happened. Oh, hold on. Okay, sorry. Can you repeat that? I was on mute.
They could have been up in one of the higher one on top of one of those buildings too, kind of looking down into that.
Yeah, it could be easily that too. Yeah.
There we go. All right.
Because I've flown down into things, and you don't make it usually that far before you lose signal, but unless you have some sort of good angle on the drone.
Yeah, so someone just commented, if he crashed the drone in the stadium, he would be dead meat, but he did not, and proving it was him without a witness is going to be hard. And that's super true, because even if the drone was registered to him, even if, or her, if the drone was registered to this person and the footage was posted on their channel, that's still circumstantial evidence. That still doesn't prove that they were the one that piloted the drone in that moment.
Yeah, the worst part about this is what it's doing to the guys like us that follow the rules, because now we're going to be, under a microscope. What are you doing? You're flying in there? What's going on, right?
Well, you got to figure, though, I mean, what's there, 10 million drones or whatever registered now in the U.S., and there's just one out of all those people? That's not really that bad, one fool. I mean, I look at it like that. I mean, now if you were seeing it every day, regular thing, it'd be a problem, but one idiot will ruin it for everybody else,
I agree. That guy was so lucky and so foolish to do that. I mean, come on, man.
That's actually one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
I absolutely agreed. I agreed. So,
I mean, I've seen drones flying over airports, close to planes, and that's actually not as dumb as that just was.
Yeah, so I'm looking at an article right now that's an update. It looks like this update was posted yesterday, so the 19th, and it is talking about, it says, the poster was unapologetic in replying to accusations the flight has been irresponsible as well as illegal and risked sullying the reputation of all UAV enthusiasts, including commenters who both learned and respected FAA regulations. He said, quote, "I don't know the rules for sure," came the defiant ignorance as an excuse reply from the pilot, "I learn as I go." So they did find who it was and evidently asked him, and he was just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't care.
It's got to be a kid or something, or a teenager or something.
It's definitely a fool.
Oh, no doubt.
So evidently, they did find this person, and unapologetic and ignorant were the bolded, underlined notes in that article.
I mean, I'm sure we're all guilty of breaking a rule here and there, but that's just idiotic. I mean,
yeah.
Well, up where I live, if you want, you can fly anywhere you want around here. There's nobody that's going to bother you. So it's
right. Yeah, and I think it's very important. Like, if you're posting footage, like I always post if there's footage that I even think someone may question. I say, there was permission to be on the property, or there is also in addition stock footage that was taken with an approved source, or you know what I mean, always adding into it, because if there are videos where I have multiple clips from different things, I'll sometimes add other stuff in, but I'll note that. I'll say, this is my own footage and some stock footage of this, or we had approval to be here, or whatever, because you just don't want someone to report you incorrectly and waste government time on something that then later you're going to be like, really, the Bengal Stadium guy is out there, but you're going to post on some BS, you know? Yeah, this person says he had some skill to be able to make the flight without crashing. This was not his first flight out of the box. Yeah. Oh, definitely not his first flight out of the box, because if you think, obviously they couldn't see the drone because they're going up and over and down in. I mean, I'm not saying he was brand new. I'm just saying it wasn't good footage.
It doesn't matter how new you are. I don't care. You'd have to be living in a friggin' box or a hole someplace for like the last 5 years not to know that you can't fly anything over people.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I
like
mean?
once you start getting comments like, hey, dude, you're going to go to prison. Like, take this down, you know? He was just like, meh. He was like, come at me, bro.
So
Yeah.
he's getting too many views to take it down.
Yeah. He was like about to risk it all. He's ready to risk it all for this Bengals game footage.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
It's like a couple more days, I'll be at 4,000 watch hours.
Right, seriously. He'll get monetized just so he can make 37 cents on his
Right.
AdSense. Like, your FAA fine is going to be a lot more than that, buddy.
I was going to say, YouTube doesn't pay too handsomely. So
No.
I think I made like $7 or something.
All right, so I was gonna show you guys this unboxing real quick from Captain Drone, and this is the $800 drone you can get that comes with the radio controller from DJI, the digital version, and it's actually pretty decent looking. Fred, this is up your wheelhouse, so I'll let you comment on it while I play the video. Share a screen. I'm going to share my second screen and see. Here it comes to plane, and he's making a comment, and this is really good foam. And I can't tell the difference between good foam and bad foam, but you'll be able to tell, Fred. All right, pull that thing out. Look, it comes with a controller from DJI. And that's a $300 controller right there, all by itself.
Needs some more switches, man. So make
it. And it has the air unit, so that's $200. So that's $500. But it's got this carbon. See the motor in the back. It's got that's the third motor, and there's a motor on each one of the wings. So, and see, I know it's an air unit because it's got two antennas. The Caddick Vista only has one antenna.
What's that nose look like to you?
It looks just like the Dart.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. So he's showing you the XT60, and there's the air unit right there. Okay. And they have all, I guess the electronics in there, all the wires went in the back. You notice that? It went right straight to the flight controller. So I bet you they use a Maytag flight controller. And there's your GoPro mount. But I think I did not show you the wings. Come on, show us the wings. Nope. There they are, right here.
Looks like it's got good sized motors on it.
Yeah, they do. And he'll show you the motors tilt up.
I was going to say the incels, they must go up and down.
Yeah, they tilt up. But he's talking about how nice this foam is and how easy it is to repair. Fred and I went flying, and he crashed his regular Dart. And he was able to put it back together after a major crash.
Yeah, the foam just goes together so nice. You can't hardly tell it's broke, too.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
So $800, $900 for this unit is expensive. And look at the size of it.
No, I mean,
Look at the
all
size of the
electronics,
box.
not really though. I mean, if you're getting the remote and the air unit, I mean, I wonder if you could buy it without the remote and the air unit though.
You could probably do that. And I don't want that because so there's the size of it. It's a pretty big sucker. So
So
it's
1200 millimeters, the same size as that one up there. So it's a good size plane.
yeah, it's a good size spread. Okay, I'll go ahead and stop sharing
70 miles an hour ain't bad either.
now. That looks like a really good flyer.
That's interesting. I'm interested. That's
Yeah, because VTOL would make things so much easier to fly.
oh, it would. I mean, that's most crashes occur on landing usually, and takeoff.
Yeah.
I mean, once the plane's up there, it kind of flies itself. Really, kind of like a drone. Just kind of
So,
point it where you want it to go, like a boat.
oh, we got an AZ drone dude in the house. How you all doing, guys? Thanks for coming by. And we have Bob Casey, Ariel's here. Mike. Oh gosh, how do you pronounce Mike's last name? Mike, help me out here, man. Brening. Yeah.
Brening? I don't know if that's right or not. That was my best.
Hernick. Yeah. There we go. And we got Brian here for TRG drones and e-bikes. Your channel's rocking, Brian. Keep it up, buddy. And Johnny Drone Flyer. And so thanks for definitely stopping by. And it's got to do the administrative. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button, guys. Help Karley out here. Uncle Bill's Toys is here. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Bill?
Hello.
Oh, he's got a big old fish on the line on that one.
All right, friends. I have to get to another call, but this was so nice to hang out with you and with everybody.
It's top of the hour anyway, pretty much. So
yeah. So let's go ahead and do our shameless promotions and then drop off. Karley, you can go first.
Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it. My channel is Karley Cottrell. It's just the same spelling as my name that you'll see on the screen there. And please check out some of my videos. If you like them, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. I'd love to have you all there. And let me know what sort of drone content you'd like to see. I've got a couple different ideas for this year, like traveling with a drone, how to bring a drone on an airplane, some new places I want to bring it, beginner drone stuff, like all of those kinds of things I want to start adding to the channel. So thank you so much. And I'll see y'all on another time.
All right. Thank you, Karley. It's a pleasure having you. We'll definitely want to have you back again if you'd let us. Appreciate you taking the time to join us. If you haven't seen Karley's channel, here it is. Here's the URL. Fred, what do you have going?
not too much. I got some plane videos coming out, and I've got I'm editing the FEMA 2022 video as well for the review on that. So, which not too impressed with that drone. So
yeah,
it didn't get two thumbs up by me, but anyway.
Yeah, we're hoping the camera. I can't wait to see it. Hoping the camera is better.
I don't want to judge the camera on mine because I think mine has something wrong with it, like half of them do that you get. But who knows? Got it.
All right, guys. Look, on my end, I'm going to be putting the videos out on which one of these 4-inch drones is better. This one I've actually had a chance to fly, and this one I'm just finishing it up on beta flight right now. And that is it for tonight. Fred, great show. Good stuff. Thanks, everybody, for joining. And we'll see you guys next Thursday. Bye-bye.
Later on, man.
Later on, man.